There's been Saharanpur, which has witnessed multiple caste clashes over the last few weeks and continues to be tense. And now the general law and order situation in the state of UP is coming under greater scrutiny. The latest incident today, where a man was shot dead and 4 women of his family were allegedly gang raped at gunpoint in the early hours on a highway just 70 kilometers from Delhi.
अगर इंसाफ न दिया जब हमारे आदमी खत्म हो गए तो हम भी थाने में जान दे देंगे औरतें
4 women allegedly gang raped. A man shot dead when he tried to get help. The nightmare this morning at 1 a.m. near Yamuna Expressway in Uttar Pradesh. 8 family members, 4 men and 4 women were travelling from Jewar to Bulandshahr at around 1 a.m. They were carrying money for a pregnant relative who had medical emergency. But they had been on the highway for just minutes. When stopping to remove an obstruction on the road, they were attacked by 6 armed men.
उन्होंने आगे जाके देखा तो उसमें दोनों में पिंचर अब वो स्टेपनी जो उतारी फिर घर पे करा हमने फोन पे ये सुनते रहे गाड़ी मालिक भी हाँ और जी वो लड़का भी उन्होंने जब फोन करा 100 नंबर पे ये 100 नंबर का बताएंगे हमारे पास कोई पुलिस नहीं पहुंची हाथ पैर बांध के डाल दिए जब औरतों से बदतमीजी करने लगे जब उनने क्या तो भाई औरतों क्यों कर रहे हो भैया परेशान बदतमीजी क्यों बोल रहे बच्ची क्या दिखा
Today's crime bears an eerie similarity to another. Last year on the Yamuna Expressway, a family of 3 were looted on their way to Bulandshahr and the young girl and her mother were raped. After the incident, the state government claimed they had increased patrolling jeeps. So why were the cops delayed today?
Basically, the call that went to UP 100 after the incident happened, that was on 2:32 a.m. in the morning, and the information was sent to the police response vehicle in the local area, and that local area police response vehicle contacted the complainant at around 2:40. Because scene of crime was a bit away from the main road. It was night, dark night. They could not identify the exact place, but fortunately they could identify the vehicle that was standing there, and from that they could identify the place.
What time did your team reach, sir? I mean, just to be clear.
It reached there by 2:45 or something.
सारी स्थिति ठीक होगी. अभी 1.5-2 महीने की सरकार आपकी है. 15 साल के कूड़े करकट को ठीक करने के लिए थोड़ा समय चाहिए. किसी भी इस प्रकार के अपराधियों को बख्शा नहीं जाएगा. ये उत्तर प्रदेश की सरकार ने तय कर रखा है.
It's just been 3 months for Yogi Adityanath, but one of the focus areas for the new Uttar Pradesh government had been to increase safety for women. They will be tested not just on how soon they manage to catch the culprits, but also on whether they can make the highways safe again. With camera person Stephen Anthony, Tonima Biswas for NDTV.
Meanwhile, in western UP's Muzaffarnagar, the son of a grocery shop owner and his friends allegedly gang raped 2 minor girls at knife point on Monday after calling them to their shop on the pretext of giving them groceries. And more than 48 hours later, there are still no arrests in this case. It's another story that's making headlines in Uttar Pradesh. Well, what has happened to Yogi Adityanath's big promise of setting law and order in Uttar Pradesh right? Joining us on the program tonight, Mr. GVL Rao, national spokesperson of the BJP, Mr. Pawan Khera, spokesperson of the Congress, here in the studio with us. Professor Vivek Kumar from JNU is joining us here in the studio. Mr. Prakash Singh, the former DGP of Uttar Pradesh, is with us, and Prashant Jha, a senior journalist, associate editor of the Hindustan Times, who of course has travelled extensively through UP and knows the state really well. Mr. GVL Rao, if I could ask you first, this really is quite a blot. I know it's only been in 3 months of Mr. Yogi Adityanath's government in UP, and you can't magically expect law and order to improve overnight. But these have been, rather startling incidents that have taken place. This on the highway, which is not far from Delhi. Saharanpur has been tense for several weeks now. Would you admit that this is actually Mr. Adityanath's biggest challenge right now, getting law and order set right?
No, Nidhi, law and order is certainly a challenge in Uttar Pradesh, and this has been on the top of our promises, and this was also on the minds of the people when they actually voted. But certainly, I think the difference that you will certainly find in Uttar Pradesh today, talking to anyone there, is that today the government is totally committed to eliminating it and has taken strictest possible action even in Saharanpur. I think a number of officers who were found wanting have been shifted. There is no political patronage which existed during the Samajwadi Party regime. During the entire Samajwadi Party regime, there was a nexus, politician criminal nexus, that has been completely broken. But certainly the law and order situation is one of the worst situations that you have in Uttar Pradesh. And certainly it looks like it will take some time before you get a complete fix on the situation. But certainly the government has been, the Chief Minister have been making the utmost efforts, sincere efforts, and no one has been spared so far.
But I just want to ask, before I get the politicians into it, Prashant, who's written extensively on Saharanpur, for instance, do you think that that situation has actually been mishandled? Because it's still tense and those clashes aren't entirely over. There's some relative calm there in Saharanpur today, but it's actually been simmering for a while.
No, of course, I think it's been mishandled. The fact that a party which has won such a mandate, has over 325 seats in the UP Assembly, cannot handle a district level political issue, law and order issue, speaks of the failure of the government. I would like to argue that perhaps these clashes that have happened in Saharanpur were inbuilt in the very nature of BJP's win. What led to BJP's spectacular victory? It was on the back of a certain constellation of social groups, upper castes, OBCs, but primarily non-Yadavs, Dalits, but primarily non-Jatav Dalits. What has happened is that this was enough to get the BJP to the victory. But you have a governance challenge from the other groups who are today feeling excluded. You have the Yadavs, you have the Muslims, and you have Jatavs, the most powerful of Dalit groups, who are outside the power structure, the current power structure. In Saharanpur, what we are seeing is that the BJP supporters, primarily upper caste Thakurs, and it is not a coincidence that Thakurs today are feeling emboldened, were on the forefront of the aggression, and Dalits, Jatavs, are resisting it, and Dalits are fighting, battling it out, and that I think is a contradiction that we are going to see in many places in UP over the next few years, unless the Yogi government takes a more inclusive approach to governance than it took to the elections.
That's a very interesting point you make, and you've written about this as well. Mr. Rao, you wanted to respond to that. I think the point that Prashant is also making is that you have an overwhelming mandate in UP, and you also had very tall claims made by the UP Chief Minister as soon as he took office, that law and order would be the first priority. And it's not just Saharanpur. These murders that we've seen, whether what has happened today, what has happened with the jewelers. I mean, there have been a spate of very horrific incidents in the state in the past couple of weeks.
Nidhi, I would, journalist friends, I would call his analysis cynical analysis. Because I think this kind of analysis can only create further trouble. There are no such social divisions that exist. The government has not given any kind of soft protection or cover for any group. This government truly believes in ensuring a complete social justice. Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas is not just a slogan. It is something this government is implementing. Even in Saharanpur, no one had been spared. Every section, every group which was involved in these disturbances have been, FIRs have been filed. Number of people have been arrested. Only more than 25 people have been arrested only in the incidents that happened over the last few days. And the district magistrate, SSP have been transferred out. I think government is sending a very tough message. For journalists to make this cynical analysis, I think it only shows that you have not evolved, and you still want to comment upon social angles. But this is more of a law and order problem. Whoever is at fault will be punished, irrespective of what social background they belong to.
Prashant has a quick response, and then I'll open this up to the rest of the panel.
Analysis.
So I will
and you have to back it. When you make those claims, you have to substantiate. You cannot simply, you don't have the luxury of making those comments and get away.
I will not get into the
facts.
So I'll not get into the details of the debate about whether social divisions in UP exist or not. I believe they exist. You may believe they don't. I have a simple question for you. Why is it that 3.5 weeks after violence and clashes broke out in Saharanpur, your government has not been able to control it? Simple question.
I think that is the question. Professor Vivek Kumar wanted to come in on that.
I've accepted.
No.
I have accepted it's a challenge. It's an important challenge in Uttar Pradesh.
But is it just?
But
to
you
have to
say
first
that this
acknowledge
is
that
because government is...
that there is a caste clash also. Professor Vivek Kumar was skeptical when you were saying that, you know, this is sabka saath, sabka vikas, that this is not a caste issue, this is a law and order issue, is how Mr. Rao described it.
I think if you say that it's not a caste issue, it is law and order problem, at least government, the head of the government should have spoken. They would have announced some compensation for the loss of life with the Dalits. The houses have been burnt.
Announced.
Not even one person from the government has spoken. At least they should have cushioned the pain of those people. So, if that is not that, why government is actually afraid of going there? Why no minister, no politician from the government has visited to those places? And they should have gone, and at least they should have cushioned the pain by giving them. The people who are being posted, you see the identity, the natural identity of the people. Why can't actually there should be a confidence building measure on the side of the others? So, I think, you know, the alienation is quite clear. There is not a single leader who is speaking for the Dalits, and they have not come to the rescue. Neither the administration has come to the rescue. When even Mayawati visited, people were having swords in their hand. And if this is the law and order, when the leader of the opposition visits there, what is going to happen when there is no one to see up? There were police who were standing with folded hands, not doing anything. So, it's out and out something which is very, very drastic, and I think one should wake up. This is, I think, I will go with Jha, that, you know, this is going to happen and this will be repeated everywhere, because the people who are now getting power after 25 years, they will definitely try to assert, and the people who were having power, they will not take it lying. So, there will be a clash.
I want to ask Mr. Prakash Singh, as a former DGP of the state, and you understand its complexities probably better than anybody else, sir. Would it be foolish for us to think that Yogi Adityanath can improve things even slightly in 3 months, or would you say that even you are concerned by the spate of incidents you're seeing?
I think it is very premature to be pronouncing any judgment on the Yogi government on the basis of what is happening currently. It's very premature. You see, you don't treat cancer in one day. The cancer of maladministration, the cancer of corruption, the cancer of caste feelings, the cancer of communal feelings. And I mean, maladministration, I think that is one word which sums up. Over the last 50 years, the Gangetic Valley has been administered in the worst possible manner. And I would even go to the extent of saying that the British would not have looted the Gangetic Valley in 150 years to the extent our own leaders did that in the last 15 years. I mean, I am a witness to that. I know what's happening on the ground. Now, when that is the level of maladministration, you don't expect overnight transformation to take place. It will take, see, there are two things are very clear. I mean, one, Yogi Adityanath has no hang-ups. He is very transparent in his approach. He is very clear in his directions, that there will be no sort of discrimination, and the message down the line which he has conveyed to the administrative officers of both civil and police, that you have to be fair, you have to be just. One. Number two, there is an effort, I am not saying that he is entirely successful in that, to revamp the administration and post the right officers at the right place. But the transfers were considerably delayed. In fact, if you recall, for quite some time the same old team continued to function, and he was repeatedly warned that, look, a whole lot of things which had gone wrong during the earlier regimes. There were reports that they were burning papers relating to scams or scandals, misappropriation and whatnot. Then he got active, and then he started.
You make two interesting points. One is you're saying it's premature.
The point is that the new team has yet to establish itself. Now, these incidents have happened. They are bad incidents, no doubt about it, and they are serious incidents. But we have to give. I would rather judge these incidents by the follow-up action, by how quickly the criminals are traced and the cases are worked out and how they are followed up.